think this scholarship would make my mother, would really please my mother. Because I think she felt that throughout her life, many people helped her. She believed in helping others in every way that she could. And she would want us to carry this on. And I think she'd be pleased to hear that these children, young people who are receiving these scholarships, will go on to help others. And it is just good for all of us to learn that lesson, heed that lesson, and remember all the things that have been done for us, and we should just pass that on.
And so that scholarship that I won, the AREF Leadership Scholarship, really pushed me in terms of being bold and becoming a leader, and not be shy or don't step down and think that, I can't achieve great things.
My family came to Canada in the early 1900s. They started homesteading, breaking land. It's very laborious, just very hard work. And needless to say, the weather was so different from where they came from, especially in the winter. And then a few years later, about 3 years later, my grandfather sent for his wife and his daughter, and that would be my grandmother and my mother. My mother came from a very tiny village in Lebanon, and education was not accessible to most of the children, but especially for girls. She arrived in Canada, she was 17 years old, and I think at that time, 17-year-old it would never be considered that she should go to school. When they were on the farm, winters were very long. So my father would order books, and he would read them to my mother. And most of them, there was a Western hero, I can't remember his name, but anyways, it was a cowboy story, and he would read these cowboy stories to her. And he would read it at night to her, read it in English. He'd translate it into Arabic, which I think, again, tells me how gentle and loving these people were. These new immigrants that came here were uneducated. They certainly couldn't speak English, and they took jobs. I mean, they persevered, they took jobs as laborers, anything that they could find. I remember them because they were part of my life. But how many people will really remember them other than their family as time goes by? And what is their legacy going to be? Now, if everyone got involved with these scholarships and AREF, I really feel that their name could live on and on and on, and their story will live on and on and on. And I feel we owe it. We owe it to these pioneers, to these people who worked so hard to grow our community, to give us all that we have, to give us the opportunity to become educated. And I think that would be a wonderful tribute to all of these families.
But having something like AREF, the AREF Foundation, and scholarships behind you, it just build a sense of an ummah and a community, showing that you have people around you supporting you and pushing you to go the furthest that you can go.
The biggest importance I see in the AREF scholarship is the long-term benefit for a Muslim community. For example, because of the AREF scholarship, I'm more involved in my community. I'm taking on more initiatives, and we're creating a more cohesive society. And I believe that donors will have a strong feeling in knowing that they're investing in the next generation of Muslims who will make an impact for the future. And it's a great feeling to have.
If I were to do things differently, I wish that I would have tried harder to help my mother at least learn to write her name. Because she was not able to be educated, it was so important to her. It was a regret that she had. She lived for 90 years. It was one of the real regrets she had in her whole life. That perhaps through this scholarship, her name and her plight could live on. Hopefully these girls who receive the scholarship will tell their children, and hopefully that they will tell their children, and the next person who receives the scholarship will do the same thing, will tell her story, and they'll pick up a book and a pen for my mother. I think that would be a wonderful legacy for her.
The AREF organization assisted me in more than one way. Of course, the AREF scholarship assisted me financially in being able to pay for my tuition. But more than that, the AREF organization also allowed me to meet and connect with many other students and people in my community as well. So I encourage anyone to apply or at least participate with the AREF organization because it encourages leaders in both an academic and a community setting.